Hey yo guys, girls, and everyone in between. This is Rebellious Pastry here, and this is the first episode of the hobby interview show for the season. So, yeah. I've as you notice, I have been getting back on like shows and whatnot. I haven't really been posting animations lately just because of how busy I have been. So I've been like supplementing it with streams, which I hope is okay. Like I see I'm losing subscribers, but like sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do and whatnot. So, but yeah. Um so as far as um let's see here. Announcements. I gave you the channel update. Um I'm gonna go ahead and basically have Placebo come back sooner than later, but yeah. Um da, 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 da. So for the hobby interview show, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the pinned comment or like pinned like chat thingy. But like, feel free to ask our lovely friend Placebo any questions you have about um about their 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 hobby of playing the piano. I'm gonna go ahead and wait until all the preset ones are set though, because like I want to create consistency for the show. So, and in order to ask a question, please be like at Rebellious Pastry, so that I know that you're talking to me and not somebody else. And if for whatever reason at is not working, you can also do a donut emote as well. So, and just so you guys know, just as a reminder, this is not a general Q&A, so you're not allowed to ask me anything. I'm not sure when I'm doing my next Q&A, but, like, remember, this is for the sake of learning about hobbies, not talking to me, so, even though I am the interviewer, in ask questions in the comments. I'm gonna check that to make sure that wasn't Placebo. That is Placebo. Placebo, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
That's fun.
I'm basically like explaining the mechanics of the show since this is the first hobby interview I've done in a while. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, hopefully I said your name right. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with the most basic question known to man, women, and in-betweeners, and ask, what is your name?
What? That's crazy, dog. Even I don't know the answer to this. But Hi, I'm Placebo, and you can pronounce that multiple ways or Lux, so either of those.
What, Placebo?
Yarhar.
Why didn't you correct me yesterday when we were on call?
So, hey guys, what's up, guys? Markiplier here.
But anyways, Placebo. Why did I pronounce that Placebo? I don't know.
Some people have, and I've kind of just gone with it. I don't care.
Alrighty. Now, this is the second most obvious question known to man, but I'm still gonna ask it, which is, what is your pronouns?
What? I use they, them pronouns and he, him pronouns and some neo pronouns, but those are confusing, so use they or he in referring to me.
Yeah. So, the next one is, like, can you please go ahead and send this to me in the DMs, but, please tell me if you have any, like, social media, like YouTube, whatever, whatnot, Insta, whatever, whatnot, whatever you would, if you want any of the donut batch to go ahead and check out anything you're doing.
I have a Twitter. Let me get that real quick.
More like an X. These.
No, it's not an X.
It's an X.
It's Twitter.com.
It's an X.
Twitter.com.
It's an X.
Twitter.com. What do you mean? It's Twitter.com.
They literally changed it to an X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't use it that often, but yeah, that is a social media thing.
But yeah, we're not here to talk about how stupid Twitter's recent events have been, but I like to joke about it because it's just like that. It'd be like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I need to go ahead and actually grab a copy of this show. While it's currently going on to talk to the chat. But anyways, I'm gonna remember to but yeah, anyways, get like the copy of the chat or copy of the thing going. But yeah, I'm still embarrassed about how I got your name wrong.
It's not the worst thing ever. I had a person call me Placebo, and they refused to call me anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just me, like, doing the hobby interview. Alright, anyways, so here's another most obvious question known to man. What is your hobby?
Oh my god. Guys, believe it or not, but I play the piano, and I have for quite a bit now, so yeah.
So how long have you been playing the piano?
I first started in 2nd grade. I took like a small break at the beginning of quarantine, and I kind of played on and off during quarantine. But that's when I realized, like, I genuinely like this again, So I picked it up, and yeah, smooth sailing since then.
Yeah, it's good that you played a piano during quarantine. What else was there to do? I don't know.
Roblox.
Watch YouTube. Anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah. So do you feel like do you have more backstory? I forgot to say this in pre-stream, but feel free to take as long as you want on a specific question.
Okay.
Because, yeah. How did you find playing the piano?
Well, as people who know me might know, I'm Asian and therefore have very Asian parents. And one of the most stereotypical 8 things that Asian parents do is make their young kids play an instrument, right? So it was piano or violin, and they signed me up for the piano. They tried to get my sister to do violin. That didn't work.
Anyway, so you got first dibs.
I did.
Since you're the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Violin is cool too, though. I want to learn it eventually.
I've done violin before. But yeah.
Is it fun?
The only issue is I don't like the E string very much.
No.
It's too high pitched.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And then there's Placebo's Twitter. Anyways, I don't know. They called X now, whatever. Back to the questions.
Yep.
Let's see here. Why are you interested in it?
Well, I really, really like music. Like, I'm pretty, 99% sure it is my special interest, as I am an autistic person. And being able to, create music with, an instrument, especially one that can, produce so many notes, like the piano, unlike an instrument like the violin that only plays harmony, it's really interesting, and it's something I deeply enjoy.
Oh, man. Although I see the notes layered on top of notes, and I'm like, what is this? No one can
It's
play
really
that.
crazy. Yeah.
No one can play
Especially like
that.
the MIDI videos. Those are crazy.
Oh man. It sounds like a recipe for hand cramp, in my opinion.
Yeah. That and RSI.
Anyways, how much does it cost? And yes, this includes everything that goes into the hobby. Like don't put a price tag. Don't put a price tag on time, but like put like whatever. Like how much
Mm-hmm.
does it cost for the piano? How much does it cost for like whatever else you use? If you have to go ahead
Mm-hmm.
and like if you were doing price for the violin, I'd say how much does the rosin cost? Like just an overview of cost for
Yeah.
playing the piano. Like how much does it
Okay.
cost to get
Yeah.
it tuned properly?
Oh gosh. Mm-hmm.
And like all the ins and outs of the price of the violin.
Alright. Okay. So of course you would never ever ever expect this, but there's the price of the instrument itself. If you're like a beginner or something, you don't have to get like an actual piano. You can get an electric piano or like a keyboard, and like the super duper cheap ones are like $100, but it goes up from there. So of course, starting instruments aren't cheap, but most places like even like maybe like friends like houses and stuff, they might have a piano. Like I think most people have touched a key at least once, so you kind of know what it's like. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at how you said that. Like touch a key at least once.
No, because like everyone did that. Like my music classroom in elementary school and stuff. Like when the teacher would like step out or something, people would just go and like tap either like the lowest key or the highest key, and everyone would laugh.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but yeah.
If you're going for an actual piano, then you're already starting like in the thousands, and depending on like how expensive the piano is, like one of the most prestigious piano brands, Steinway, like that's like hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. So maybe not that as a beginner. So say you're spending like maybe somewhere under $1,000, still over 100 for the piano. For music, there are a lot of instructional books and stuff you can start. Like, there are different levels and stuff depending on what series it is. Those cost money, but at this day and age, you can honestly just learn from YouTube or download sheet music for free online.
But
Of course, there's more options if you just
how much does it cost on average per book?
per book. It's like a normal book, so I'd say like honestly I don't remember. Like at the very very least it'll be like $10, and at the very most it'd probably be like 30.
That's fair. So like the how-to
Mm-hmm.
books and whatnot. How about for like a songbook?
Kinda, yeah.
How about for like a songbook?
Maybe the same. It also depends on how thick it is, because they're the ones that's like very thin, and then there's ones like with every single Christmas song known to man. I have one of those. It's like the Bible.
Oh man, you're like every Christmas song known to man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I kind of am wondering. Like, I know this isn't a Christmas song, but think the dreidel song is in there.
Yeah, honestly, probably because it's still like in the December holidays, you know.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
oh man. um, let's see here. And then, is it one cost or something that you keep on paying for? So one cost is basically
yeah,
like once you buy it, it's yours, and like you don't really necessarily like, yes, there's repairs, but like in general you don't have to go ahead and keep on rebuying things. Versus like something like there could be like um another hobby, like hobbies like drawing, where or like a drawing on pencil and paper, traditional drawing, which you keep on have
Mhm.
to buy sketchbooks and pencils and la 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 la.
Yeah.
So would you say playing the piano is a one cost or something you keep on playing for? Paying for, not playing for it.
Paying
Ah.
for it. Yeah. It depends because you could get like a keyboard, and of course that adds to your electricity bill. So you could consider that like multiple purchases, but the keyboard itself is one purchase. And with sheet music and finding music, you could honestly get stuff for free online. It really depends on how much you want to spend. So it can be like expensive if you want to buy a bunch of books and stuff, but honestly, you can probably find all of those on eScore or something.
That's fair. So it's
Yeah.
like if you want the physical book, it's gonna cost more.
And also with the real piano, you gotta get that tuned every year. Honestly, it can go up to like 5 years, I want to say, without being tuned. But you don't want to really go past that, or else the piano itself will start deteriorating. And tuning, like any other professional service, is a few $100s.
Really? So the com- so not so the piano
I think.
literally
Yeah.
so the piano literally deteriorates if it isn't fixed? Like if it isn't tuned?
Yeah, it's something like that. Like, it'll set, but this is only after like 10 years. And if you're not, I don't know, I'm not sure you can. Can you forget something for 10 years?
I don't know. Maybe it's because maybe like somebody inherited like a piano from their grandma and literally didn't have any intentions on playing it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
no
But the
offense,
moment.
but a
Uh,
piano it seems like the stereotypical thing that you would inherit from a grandma from your grandma.
I mean, yeah, I got my piano from my grandma, so I cannot say anything.
Unless your name is Pastry, then you literally freaking inherit an accordion.
Yeah.
Do you think I'm joking when I said I inherited an accordion?
It's so random. Like, two people play the accordion maximum, I'm telling you.
I literally. Do you think I'm lying?
Nah, I believe you. Don't worry.
Yeah. It's a really fun thing to say during Two Truths and a Lie. That is if.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess if people watch this channel, then I can't use it. Ah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I digress. Oh man. Do you know right around
Mm-hmm.
how much your piano is worth in value?
Oh man, it's like a baby grand. So that's like, it's kind of a smaller grand piano. So I imagine it's a lot. Let me look it up actually right now.
Or baby grand? What do you mean by a
Yeah.
baby
Okay. The
grand?
first thing I see, um, it's my understanding, which might not be the like exact thing, is that you know how there's like a grand piano, which is one of those like huge ones you'll see in concert halls and stuff.
Yeah.
Baby grand is probably just like smaller. Let me look that up
Is it
actually.
like smaller
Baby.
keys or less keys?
I don't think it doesn't have to. Okay, length. Yeah, so I guess the keys are a little bit smaller, but honestly, you don't really notice that much.
Oh. But yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see here. But yeah, you say that it's very dependent on your circumstance with how much it costs.
Yeah, definitely.
And now the next question is, do you make money off of it?
I wish. I wish, dude. Like, I'm no by no means a professional musician, and I don't really intend on becoming in the future. But I know as a fact that a lot of musicians do have it really tough because they expect you to be like a virtuoso or something, right? They expect you to be like freaking Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart or like something, and it's like you can't do that. Not everyone's like that, and the piano especially. Like, although like those BuzzFeed like videos or something say it's like one of the easiest instruments. It's easy to press a key, but it's like to genuinely master it, it's really difficult. And as with most instruments, yeah, it's not. I don't make money off of it, and it's hard to make money off of it. But it's something that you can really enjoy.
Um. Oh man. Um. Why is my computer deciding that it doesn't want to pull back up the question sheet right now? Never
Take your
mind.
time.
Um.
All
So
right.
let's see here. Um. It. Do you have plans to make money from it? I think you already answered that, but
Yeah, I
like,
answered it a little bit. I don't want to become a professional musician, but like I've been debating starting a piano YouTube channel or something to document my progress, and maybe that will become monetized. I don't know.
yeah, just so you know, YouTube monetization is really harsh these days.
Yeah, it is. I have some
Especially
other
if
friends who
you're,
are YouTubers.
yeah, especially if you like, um, hate to say this, but especially if you're genderqueer.
Yup.
I pretty much shot
Unfortunately.
myself on and shot myself in the foot with that one, but you know, it's
Hmm.
not my fault. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, um, but yeah, it's definitely hard to like make money off of YouTube. Which I'm gonna put another question on that, and so there's ways you can go ahead and get like a degree in like music. Have you ever thought of that?
Mm-hmm. Maybe when I first started off, but the thing is like especially where I am right now, there are kids who are like half my age who are also like at double the level I am. And it's kind of disheartening, but at this point, even if I wanted to become a professional musician, I wouldn't be able to. One, because I started at 7. Like some people start teaching their kids instruments at 4, you know? And two, because when I was really younger, I did not practice much. So I never really improved that fast, you know?
Understandable. Um, and so when I say there's like other ways you can go ahead and make money off of it too. You can go ahead and like
Mm-hmm.
join like I'm not so band means like different things to different people, but like joining a music group,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
and like
definitely.
you could also like incorporate like playing the piano with like um recording with other musical recordings.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And there's
there's
also busking.
what what's busking?
Busking busking is where you play your instrument in public and then people give you money.
Have you ever considered any of those avenues?
Um, I actually did try busking once. This was with a different instrument though. And I did at my school. I made a few few bills, mostly from my friends, but it was fun.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a word for that.
Yeah, there is.
I did not know there was a word for that.
Busking, Busking.
Wow. I'm actually surprised. But you
Mhm.
know, um and this is why I do this show. But yeah. Um
Yeah.
and then anything else you wish to say about like if you are planning on to make money off of it one day?
I will say this. You did mention being in a band. I will tell you this right now. as a musician, playing with other musicians, it's one of the most like rewarding and enjoyable things you will ever experience. It's everyone like contributing to like make something. And even though, like by yourself, you could play like technically harder pieces, like you're just, for example, just playing chords in the song with other people, but it just all fits in together so nicely. So even I do play with some other people. We're not paid, but it is very, very rewarding in its own way.
Oh, so do you play for like a church or something?
Um,
Sorry, that's a
I'm
very
in this kind of
generic question, but it makes
no.
sense.
It's yeah. Um, I eventually want to get there. I am nowhere like even close to religious. Like, I don't know. I consider there may be a god, not entirely sure. But
I do not
honestly, yeah.
confirm or deny my if there is or is not a god for the sake of this channel.
Okay, okay.
For
Well, this is just my
personally,
personal
me
beliefs. Don't
personally.
copy my beliefs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I personally prefer not to say any of my religious beliefs or believe. Ah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, I will continue. I do go to a church. I really like that church. It's pretty cool. I know a lot of people there. And at some point I do want to join the worship team, but right now I'm I would be one of the youngest people there. So maybe
Fair.
I'll wait a few years.
But
But
yeah,
there's yeah.
there's also different other ways to go ahead and make money. Like you could go ahead and like
Mhm.
commission yourselves out commission yourself out for like weddings.
Yeah, I could honestly.
But how
I
many times
can
but how
make
many
wedding
times
plans.
would you want to play Here Comes the Bride?
Yeah, here comes to the bride. Or maybe even an arrangement for canon in D. That would be so annoying.
Just like
At least I'm
do
not the cellist.
do 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 do.
Yeah. Ugh. Scary.
Oh man, just imagine like like very often just being like, yeah, oh
Mhm.
man, but yeah, um, let's see here, but yeah, um, so is there any other ways you've thought about making money off of playing the piano, or have
Off
I,
of playing the.
or have I given you any new ideas?
Mm, let me think. I mean, you could always, you can always upload like covers and stuff. And of course, it's not the best thing ever. If you like do enough, those will get a certain amount of video. I mean, like views and stuff. And if you seem to have a talent for it, of course, people will support you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anything else as far as like that question goes, or did I pretty much milk it as much as it'll go?
Oh, yeah, I thought of something.
Yeah.
No,
Wait,
okay, yeah.
are you
So
gonna sell like a musical piano milk? No.
yes, I'm gonna like start a milk brand, and there's gonna be a Steinway on it, and they're gonna sue me, and but I'm gonna sue them too. And then they'll give me a free piano, and I'll sell it, and I'll make easy 150 grand.
I'm
I
sorry.
know.
It's just the fact that I said milking out of the question, and then they're like, oh, hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway,
Okay.
continue. I'm just being a goofy goober.
Hmm. But yeah, you did mention bands, so I do want to elaborate on that a little bit more. What I currently do is I'm not part of the church's worship team, but I'm kind of in this like cool music lesson program where they actually teach you to like perform with other musicians, right? And it's kind of rock based, which is really cool. Like honestly, I love classical music, but it's like some of the like stuff they'll make you play is not the funnest ever, and it's very repetitive. But anyways, it also like exposes me to like other types of music. So I play with those people there.
Have you
And
ever
if you get good,
Oh, sorry.
hmm?
Continue.
Yeah. And like personally, I know a lot of musicians, and from there, honestly, we could go and start our own band, and that would be really cool. And you can play like in your community and stuff. Like there's obviously these aren't paid talent shows, but you can work up a name for yourself. That's how all big artists start. And even if you're not making the most money ever, like people will pay you at least to be the opening act, you know?
That's fair. So, I know you're probably not gonna make any money from this, but have you considered joining an orchestra?
Ooh.
The word that I was
Okay.
looking for
Yeah.
earlier when I said band, but my brain couldn't even think of. Even though I used to play in an orchestra, my brain couldn't think of the. I don't know, man.
Interesting.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like my mind couldn't think of the word orchestra.
Mm-hmm. Orchestral pianist. Isn't there like usually just one?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. If someone would want if someone chose me, then definitely yes. But like I think only so much damage to my ego could be done.
And then like there's also like school orchestra. Oh, why did my pop filter decide to
Yeah, school
fall
orchestra.
off my pull off my but yeah. But yeah, sometimes they let more than one in, so you know. But then again with the piano, like they're not gonna like have like 15 of those things.
Oh gosh, that would be the only thing you'd hear. Pianos project a lot.
Oh man. Imagine if it was a school orchestra just full of pianos.
Yeah. My school has a piano class. I can definitely imagine that.
You want to know the one thing that that people did not want to play in orchestra? Stand-up bass.
What?
A stand-up bass.
I mean, yeah, you have to stand up.
Yeah. Sometimes they have like little like bar stools.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
just lugging it around is the problem and a half here.
Mm-hmm. They're heavy.
But yeah. Anyways, is that it for that question? Going once,
Yeah,
going twice, sold to the next question.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. How many hours a week do you typically spend on playing the piano?
I practice 40 hours a day. A day, I'm telling you.
40 hours a day? There's not even 40 hours in a day, dude.
Okay. That's a reference.
Do you go ahead and practice the piano on top of practicing the piano or something? Jeez.
Precisely. Okay, but realistically, how much I practice around 1 to 3 hours a day. On weekends, it might be more. And this is honestly just out of pure love for the instrument. So if you multiply that by 7, so yeah.
Yeah.
If you said I practice 2 hours a day.
So approximately, I'm asking.
14.
So 14 hours a week. That's fair.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. That question tends to be kind of a bash sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Just because
you don't practice enough.
No, it's actually on the other.
Yeah.
It's actually on the other end of that, you know, like.
Really?
Like, oh, that's all you ever do is practicing the piano. But yeah.
I actually have other hobbies, believe it or not.
Oh man! Oh wow! As if you didn't.
I know.
As if you didn't just predict the next question.
That's wild.
Your mind is going to pop out of its skull once you hear what the next question is.
I know, mind blown explosion.
How easy is it to have other hobbies?
What? Oh my god, what? I don't know, man.
Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you see that coming?
Not even. 0%.
Also, feel free to ask questions, Donut Batch, so that I can read them off to Placebo after this.
Okay, so...
But yeah, continue.
As it is with any hobby, you can definitely like allocate time to other things. There is like no piano scripture out there being like if you must be a pianist, you can only play the piano and that's it. Like, of course you can do other things. It's just really how good you are with time management and how much time you want to dedicate to the piano, which for some people is only 20 minutes a day, and that's okay.
2 hours a day to piano. Oh my.
It's
I'm
literally, yeah.
my
I mean,
mind
I
is just
songwrite
like,
too, so
yeah,
that makes sense with it.
that would be good for another episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Um anyways, um so you say it's easy. It depends. So you say it depends on like how much time you want to dedicate to the piano.
Yeah,
So
there's
there's
nothing about piano that makes you like. I mean, if you're practicing something that's difficult, of course, it's gonna take a lot more time to learn it and stuff. But if you want to spend like more time in a fewer amount of days rather than like spreading it out, that's like up to you, you know? No one's saying you can't spread it out unless you're taking lessons, then you have like deadlines.
oh man, yeah. Wait, how much does it cost for lessons? You
That
never
is why
mentioned that.
yeah, there is this super duper amazing thing called parents, but I I have looked up instrument lessons before. It's definitely like it's not I don't know, I'm some spoiled teenager. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, around $80. I thought like $70
A
like
session?
per lesson. Yeah,
Wow.
looks like it. But you're going like every week, you know? Okay, this person here says $20 an hour. So, honestly, it's ranging quite a bit. It
Yeah.
also depends on like how good your teacher is, if your teacher is renowned, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. But
Mhm.
yeah, so like, yeah. I'm just like, wait a minute. You never mentioned that in the price.
Yeah. Of course, it's like piano, you can definitely self-teach, you know?
Yeah. I just feel like it's harder, though, in general.
Yeah. Most things are easier when you have a mentor.
Now, this next question you pretty much have answered, but I'm gonna ask it anyways.
Mhm.
And it's like the whole, um, all right. These both are kind of like I'm just gonna skip this question. I think. In this, the question I don't know if I should skip or not is it a social hobby?
Is it a social hobby? If you want
Like,
to
do
be
you work
friends with
together? Like, do you work? Like, do you tend to work a lot with
Oh,
each other with the hobby? Like,
if you're yeah, if you're playing with other musicians, then it can be. But you can also play by yourself, which is also totally valid.
because with animators, the reason why I put that with animators, it's almost impossible to be social while animating.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's why I put that in. Um, but yeah. Um, sorry, one of my neighbors are singing in the background, so I'm gonna shut my window real quick.
All right, take your time.
But yeah, I'm gonna ask you the next question before I go do that though. Um, let's see here. Is
Mhm.
it easy to work with others? So, my example for this is animation. Like, I personally find it hard to work with others because, like, I don't trust others with video deadlines.
Yeah.
But yeah, like is it easy to work with others? Like with some like it's more of like music production and whatnot. Like you like it tends to tie into like the is it a social hobby, but not exactly because like yes, it could be a social hobby and yes, it could be hard to work with others. Another example of like the question is if you were like in robotics and like you built like one part of the robot and then like someone else builds another part. But
Hmm.
yeah, you can see why I'd ask such a thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. Um,
Because with some hobbies,
yeah.
you literally like cannot work with anybody else.
Hmm. If you're like trying to compose something, trying to make something new with somebody, of course it's like depending on how good y'all's communication is beforehand, definitely sets the tone. Like if you're gunning for two completely different things,
Anybody
of
else?
course you're gonna have some disagreements, and it's like, oh
Anybody
my gosh,
else?
why can't we just do it this way? But if you're doing something that's like, say, a duet or something, and you just find sheet music off the internet and then you just print it, then like the only thing you really have to like learn is each other's cues, and you can only be so mad about cues because you should be learning like the timing too, you know. So it honestly depends on what you're doing.
Does it also depend on the person?
Yeah, it definitely depends on the person. There are obviously people who are really easy to get along with, and there are people who are disagreeable, you know.
Also, hello, Pixel Does Art. Feel free to ask our friend Placebo questions about their hobby. Anyways, let's see here. Um, and then, let's see here. And then, do you have anything else to say about is it easy to work with others?
I think that's all I have to say. If I think of something else, I'll tell you.
Alrighty. Anyways, so these two questions are just like more of like just like it you can take these questions literally. You can go ahead and go with all different types of different like directions with these, but how has playing the piano helped you? Yeah, it could be physical, it could be mental, it could literally be anything. How has it helped you?
Mm-hmm.
You can also take it in
There,
multiple
yeah.
different directions if you want to.
Okay. There are a bunch of studies about like how playing an instrument helps you mentally and physically, and the piano in particular. So it can help with like dexterity, it can help with hand-eye
What do you
coordination.
mean as in dexterity? Sorry.
It's like mm, control, I guess I'd say, you know?
Explain more, please?
Okay, I shall. Um, how do I really put it? I know it from like video games and stuff. Like if you have high dexterity and stuff, then you're able to like make like you're able to act really quickly and stuff, and you're able to do it like things good, I guess. Especially if you're making something, and like, or if you're like writing or something, you have better control over your hands.
Okay. That makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, how about what else has it done to help you?
It's like music in general is very calming, and surrounding yourself with that can also be like very positive, right? It lets, because part of music is of course like reading the sheet music, playing something, but there's also parts like colors and stuff. That's all your interpretation, that's up to you, and it really helps with creativity and expression.
That's fair. Any other ways that have helped you?
Mhm. It also helps with memory, I think, because excuse me, I'm so sick.
It's okay.
It helps, yeah, it helps with memory because you're memorizing these pieces and stuff, even if it's unintentional.
So, do you ever get like a song stuck in your head that you were playing?
Very often.
Oh
I
man.
only play songs I like, so.
Yeah. Um, any other things that it does to help you?
Mm, nothing that comes to mind, but there are definitely a lot of studies and research out there if you any of y'all want to go check it out.
Do you have any like personal stories you feel comfortable sharing about how it has helped
Um,
you? Not just stats.
yeah.
Like stats are great, but you know.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Piano has helped me get through like a lot of mental health stuff, I'll be real. it's a hobby, and it's like something that you can rely on to be like a constant in your life. And it's also like been a way for me to be also like more freely express my interests and stuff, because with playing an instrument, of course, you can play all the theme songs you want to, and that can help you like find communities.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, any other way it'd have helped you?
I think that's all for now.
All right, I might re-ask you that later. But
All right.
what are the downsides?
Downsides?
Downsides.
Okay. If you're playing like not an electric piano or keyboard, if you're playing like an actual one, then of course it's pretty loud. Even if you're trying to play quietly, you can't. It's not that easy, right? So if you're living with someone or you have like neighbors, like you're in an apartment or something,
I swear,
then
there's a
yeah.
there's a piano on like the main floor of where I'm living in real life, and I can hear it from, so it's on the first floor down the hall, like really down the
Hmm.
hall, and I still hear the thing when I have my door open.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Generally,
why do
I
I
don't
hear
play
this
after 9
thing?
p.m. Yeah.
Fair. Fair. But yeah, what other downsides?
Downsides, if you're playing for a really long extended time or something, of course hand cramps and stuff, like, and learning octaves, it's with your left hand, it's a lot easier because you're playing more chords and stuff, so it's easier to work up to. But if you're like playing and you originally just start off with like your right hand this melody, it's hard from going to melody to being able to stretch your fingers that much unless you have big hands, which I don't.
I don't either.
Hmm.
Um, any other downsides you can think of?
Um, I think this is pretty general, but if you're trying something above your skill level or something, it might be really frustrating or something not being able to play it properly, you know?
Oh man, like just having to redo tons of things.
It's not even having to like redo tons of things. You have to play it excruciatingly slow, and then you have to try to like match up your hands together, unless you're like a sheet reading god, like sight reading god or
Oh
something. And
man,
I'm telling you,
sight reading.
if you don't if you're not like super duper good with sheet music, which if you haven't played an instrument before, I doubt you are, then it's like sheet music. It's I don't like it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then with the piano sheet music, you got like just stuff all over the place.
Yeah, jumps are so fun, guys.
Oh man. But yeah,
Yeah,
any other negatives you can think of?
that's all.
But yeah, that's pretty good. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'm just asking you for everything. And now here's the golden question.
Hmm.
Um, and this is can be a very hard one to answer too, but would you recommend it to others?
10 out of 10, absolutely yes.
And why
Like,
would you?
yeah.
Why would you?
I think I've made it pretty obvious enough, but I love the piano. I love it so much. It's like my favorite thing ever to do. And I don't practice around 2 hours a day because I have to. I do it entirely because I want to. And it's something that it's fun. It's really fun. You should try it. Like I don't really know what else I can say.
Oh man. I'm just like thinking about how many different bits and pieces are to playing the thing. Like you gotta
Hmm.
remember what each finger is doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's at some point you don't really have to like focus on like fingers and stuff. You can just like see the notes and then just already kind of like calculate in your mind, oh, like I should probably play this with my first or my third or my fifth, you know? So it's not really fingers that are super important. Well, I mean they are important, but I feel like the most annoying thing is like jumping and stuff when you're moving up and down, like trying to hit like the right bass note or something, you know?
And that concludes all the preset questions. Now I'm going to think of a whole ton of different things to ask, including
Yippee!
I'm going to start off with how many keys are on a piano, or does it depend on the piano?
It depends entirely on the piano. So each octave is, how much is it? It's 8 plus 5. So that's, I think. So I think they're 12 or 13 keys. Like, I honestly, okay, I'm so bad at this, but some pianos you'll see they have 5 octaves, while others go up to 7 or 8, and it really depends. An octave, by the way, is like kind of like a group of notes. It's from C, D, E, F, G all the way up to A and then B.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, you have a low C, which should be compared to like your middle C, which would be compared above that a higher C. So it's the same note, it's just lower or higher. And yeah, some are like 5, some are like 7, and then you have like those small toy pianos that are only like 1 or 2.
Toy pianos. Oh, man.
Yeah, if you ever play a cat piano and someone tells you you're not a real pianist, then you have like permission to punch them.
Oh, man. A cat piano. So, like,
Cat pianos go so hard.
oh, man. So, like so, like, how some pianos have, like, the, um, foot levers or whatever?
Oh, pedals. Yeah,
Pedals.
pedals are so important.
What do they do?
Okay, so the most important pedal, which is like pretty much the one you're using like 99% of the time, like personally, I don't think I've ever used the other two, like actually while playing. One, no, I have. Okay, so I'll go in order. The first one is the damper pedal. It's super duper iconic. It's the one that kind of like it somewhat blurs the notes together, and it gives it a better sound. If you're playing without it, you have to like time everything a lot more perfectly, and it's like when you're playing really fast, that's not even possible. So
Oh,
the damper
no.
pedal kind of like helps and smooths things out. It makes it sound like you're not playing staccato for every note, because if you're playing really fast, trust me, it will sound like staccato.
Oh.
Staccato is when you it's one note, but it's very quick rather than like holding out for a beat.
Oh, man. Staccato. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was something that, like, was very hard on the violin, but yeah.
Yeah, because y'all have all those bow stuff and stuff.
Yes!
I know a bit about it.
But yeah, anyways, oh yeah. Continue with what pedals do what.
Right. There's the other one, which I don't know what it's called, but it's basically damper pedal 2.0, but Walmart version.
But
And basically what
wait,
it does,
why is it 2.0 and Walmart version?
because I don't use it. I use the other one. If I out of the two other ones aside from the damper pedal, I never ever use this. Basically, what it does is you press a note and then you hold down the pedal, and that note will sustain itself like it would with a damper pedal. Every other note will play like normal. And I don't know, I just don't use it. I
So
don't
it's
use
like
it.
the first note holds down, but
Yeah,
the
the
other
notes you
ones
play
don't.
hold down. Yeah, unless you replay that note, or and then it'll be ugly. I
Ew.
feel like it's super technical. It's and it's a lot more complicated than damper pedal, which with a lot of songs you'll just like lift it every 4 beats and then put it back. It's not that hard.
And then what is the third one?
The third one, I think it's called something like a softener pedal or something. Basically, it shifts the keys a little bit to the side, but it makes it so you play a little bit quieter. Not that much, but a little bit.
Okay. So it's
And this
not
is not in order.
okay, yeah.
Like Yeah. Damper pedal is rightmost. That's all you really need to know.
Yeah. So how often do you go ahead and like press versus not press the damper pedal? Is it kind of like a gas pedal to where you, if you step on it, it just goes, is it more like a foot version of clicker where you just like click 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 click.
Cookie clicker, but feet. Can't imagine.
Oh man, how I explained that definitely. Oh
Yeah.
man.
No, you fortunately get to hold it down. You just don't want to hold it down for too long, or all your notes will seriously start like blending into each other.
Oh
And the
no.
vibrations, because I don't want to get too heavy into music theory because I don't even know that much music theory, but basically every note has its own frequency. Some notes' frequencies go well with each other, and that's why certain notes sound good with each other. And other notes' frequencies just do not mix, and that's why they sound horrible together. Unless you're like a jazz musician and you can manipulate those like however you want. I don't even know how that works. But every single note will start like mixing together, and it's like mixing a whole color palette together, and it all becomes brown, and you wanted a bright color, you know.
Oh man, that does
So
not sound
don't do
good.
that, guys. Lift the damper pedal and then just put it back.
So you're
It's
just
kind of
like,
like a reset.
so you lift up, place down.
Hmm.
But yeah.
It becomes really intuitive. Like you don't really have to think. Some songs you don't need it, some songs you do. A pieces, excuse me. But at the same time, I'm not a classical musician. I play like cover songs and anime openings, so
Oh man, what is your favorite thing to play?
my favorite things to play ever, on God. Um hmm. Okay, it's a tie between this. Raiden Shogun's theme from Genshin Impact, or it's Candy Coated Rocks from Splatoon. They're both fun.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, how much do you have to stretch your fingers out? I know it depends on the size of your hand, but still.
The most you really have to do is an octave, which let me look up how many inches that is. Octave inches, about 6.5 inches. So that's really the most you have to go. Sometimes I know there's this one song I'm learning. It's called Alley Cat. It's from Persona 5. It basically makes you play B, C, and then the other B. So that's like an octave, but it's very awkwardly. You have to like have your um what is it? Thumb on the B and the C. And it kind of feels like you're stretching a little bit over an octave,
This might
even though you're not.
this next question might sound dumb, but can you tell the difference between if a pianist is left-handed versus right-handed as far as his dominant hand, or no?
Honestly, unless they're like a beginner, I don't think I could because you have to be like good at both hands.
Yeah, that's fair. I just
Hmm.
wanted to ask because, like, if there's like more like lefty songs, and no, this is not that kind of stream, Robloxian. Anyways, sorry. Um, Someone literally asked me if I could draw them.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
But yeah, oh man. Oh right. Asking about like the foot pedals. Let's
Hmm.
see. Also, is there like only one way to tune a piano, or is there like multiple different ways? Like you know how with guitars you can like tune them differently to have them
Yeah,
sound
yeah.
differently and then all be correct.
Hmm. Okay, so basically, how guitars can do that is that like the GBE, I think, for the
You need
strings.
to go ahead and repeat that.
Um.
You broke up.
Oh, sorry. I guitars have 6 strings, right? I think the notes are E, A, D, G, B, E for the standard tuning. but you can change it up to make chords easier to play or to like transpose something. So when you're doing that, you still have notes, right? You still have like maybe an F or something. Like F is an objective note. On the piano, you can definitely tune down. There's this one pianist, slash singer slash songwriter, um, and they they have their piano tuned a half step up. So basically, you hear their F, and it's like an F sharp, you know.
Oh.
So it's the piano is in tune relatively to itself. Like if you played an E on the piano, it would be like an E. Like if they played an E on the piano, they played another E, they would resonate. And excuse me, the piano's wait, hold on. I'm thinking because I watched a tutorial of one of theirs. Their, yeah, their piano is tuned a half step up. No, it's a half step down. It's a half step down. Okay. It's a half step or full step down. Something like that. The name is Rio Romeo if you've heard of them. And
I haven't.
of course, the piano can be in tune with itself, but if you're gonna play with other people, it might be really confusing or something because it's gonna sound discordant unless you like start associating your C with an E. But that's really weird and might like if you can it wouldn't be the same playing on another piano. Like that's not yours. So while it
Oh.
is possible, I wouldn't recommend it. And I think if you told that to a tuner, they'd be like, "Are you doing one of those YouTube piano prank videos?"
Oh. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. It would be kind of cursed. It is
Oh.
kind of cursed.
Yeah. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand. But yeah. Is there anything you wished that as a piano player, is there anything that you wished that non-piano players would know about piano players?
Yeah, sure. I wish that you would know that asking, can you play Pirates of the Caribbean? Can you play Megalovania? Can you play Furlies? Like, every instrument has its own, like, song that it's, like, notorious for. If people go up, can you play this? Like, if you go up to a saxophone player, they'll ask, can you play Careless Whisper? You know? It's just, it's, it's funny in moderation. In moderation, right? Like it gets kind of annoying. It gets pretty annoying, you know? Like there's so much stuff I know that is more difficult. Not for Elise, I can't play like the second part of it. But don't limit us to like your limited knowledge, you know? Because the piano yeah, I mean, there are some instruments like I don't want to bash the violin. The violin is my second or third favorite instrument. It's like contending with bass. Um for YouTubers, of course, but like you cannot there are only a certain amount of octaves you can reach on a violin, right? A piano, you have access to like pretty much every single note. You can play anything. So yeah, I can play like if I knew it, I could play like any like part from the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack. Not bada bam bam bada bam bam bada bam bam. Oh my god.
Sorry, it's just the fact that I'm hearing like the slightly salty tone in your voice
Yeah,
when
can
you're
you
like
play All of Me by John what's his name?
oh man.
I think it's funny though. It okay. One of my like funny things though is like whenever someone asks me to play a meme song, like Still J is so easy, and I've been learning Rush E. So when people like jokingly ask me if I can play Rush E, I can say yes. So that's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um so let's see here. What's the biggest piano you've ever played on as far as number of keys?
Number of keys. I played when I was younger, and I like had my traditional piano lessons. I had recitals like every season or something, and it was at this one like church. It was like a Catholic church, and it was super fancy and stained glass and everything. I don't know, I'm not Catholic, so this is like wild to me. And they had a piano, and it was a grand piano, and it was definitely one of the bigger ones. So that was probably like what, like, yeah.
with the baked pianos, have there been songs to where you have to have one hand in on one side of the piano and the other hand on the other side of the piano, and you literally have to
Um,
stretch your body?
mhm. The like super duper high keys in comparison to the lower keys, you'll hit the like most lower keys more than you'll hit like the super high ones because the super high ones are a little bit more quiet, right? And they don't, I don't know, they can sound good, but it's better to play it like there's not really a point to, you know?
Fair.
Because if unless you're playing like arpeggios or something, arpeggios are basically when you're playing bits of a chord and you're going up. So let's say I was playing like C major, I would go C E G and then an octave up C E G C E G blah blah blah. That's like a super dumbed down version. Then I'd have to start really low. But unless I was doing that, the most I really play is like 3 octaves apart. I don't really go further from there because there's not really a reason to.
Oh, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So so I have a question. So like, how easy is it for you to play an organ if you already know how to play the piano?
Okay. I there are never okay, I'm gonna say this right now. Never ever 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 hire a pianist who has never ever touched an organ to like play for your wedding if there's only an organ and not a piano because there are similarities, but organs have like 5.6 billion pedals and you have to know how to operate those pedals and it makes it a completely different instrument from the piano.
Oh,
There are like these like failed wedding videos when people will try to get pianists to play the organ and stuff, and it sounds like everyone there is about to like die or something.
wow,
Yeah.
wow.
So don't do that. I would like to try playing an organ, but I know like learning in the pedals and stuff would be difficult.
Yeah. Oh man. Thank goodness I asked that. I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Oh man, that must be horrible.
It is horrible, and it's like, do these people not have rehearsals? Like, do they not realize the pianist can't play the organ?
They must.
Gosh.
They must think keys, keys. Great. You play now.
Yeah. No, they're wildly different. Organs have a different I mean they have a different sound, which doesn't really matter too much, but it's like you can tell an organ from a piano.
Yeah, I'm just asking like how translatable
Mm-hmm.
it is.
I
But
don't even
yeah.
know like all the pedals and stuff. There's like okay, I'm not professional, so if there's an organ person watching, like coincidentally, like correct me. But I'm pretty sure it's kind of like harp in the way there are like different pedals for like different notes or something. So there's like a lot of them.
Um. But yeah, sorry, I got. Um.
Oh, good.
I should put my Discord on Do Not Disturb. Oh man. But
That's
yeah.
fair.
Um. I sometimes get distracted by it, but I tend to do say don't DM me during shows. But yeah. Anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you ever considered like recording yourself playing and then like melting it into a different song? Or like melting it into like a song that you're going to make? I don't know if
I have
melting is the correct word, but you get what I mean, I think.
like kind of adding stuff to it and making it into a song.
Yep.
I have considered that and I have tried that and it hasn't been super duper successful yet, but it might happen. Honestly, after this, I could probably send you a video of like this one thing I made the other day. I sent it to some friends.
Is it have any copyrighted things?
No, it's just some chords with like bad lyrics on it. I'm not singing, but it's like I recorded in Snapchat and I put the Snapchat thing over it.
Oh wow. You could play it over here. You could play it on there if you want.
I could. I just have. I'd be like playing it from my phone, like speaker though.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not.
But yeah, can you tell the quality of the piano as you're playing it?
Definitely. Like, you can't. Whenever you have like medium kind of quality pianos, it's harder to tell. But you can definitely tell like a good piano from like one that hasn't been tuned in 5 years.
Wow. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So what is your top like few things you'd say about piano care? Like caring for your piano.
Caring for your piano, do not ever, ever put food or drinks on your piano. Like, a lot of people do this and will be like, wow, it's so cool. No, it's not. You're destroying it. You know, that's actually really expensive, right? Don't do that. So, don't put food and drinks on your piano. Wash your hands before playing the piano. Like, I shouldn't have to say this, but like, sometimes pianos are sticky, and I know it's y'all who are drinking soda beforehand or something.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense. How often do you
Mm-hmm.
clean your piano?
Clean your piano?
Like clean as
Very
in like
occasion.
wipe it down or whatever. But not.
Not super often. Also because you can't just like, at least the one I have. I did look it up earlier. It's around 15,000, give or take. Um, but you can't just use like water. You can't just use cleaning wipes. You gotta get something special for it. The only thing I'd really say is just dust it every once in a while. But honestly, you don't have to clean it that much if you don't want to. If something spills on it, like clean that up ASAP. But you don't have to care for it every week. At least I don't.
What is your piano's keys made out of?
Keys?
Keys.
I'm pretty sure my piano's wooden. So like wood, maybe mixture of other stuff too. But I don't really know much about piano making.
What else? What other
Mm-hmm.
piano related thing? I'm thinking. Um, what's the hardest song you've ever played?
The hardest song I've ever played. That is a very, very difficult question. Because there are different aspects of like pieces that like make them hard to play. And it's also like different interpretations, right? Like I could play the most like baby down simplified version of like Flight of the Bumblebee, and it could still be considered one of the hardest songs I played just because that piece is that notorious. But like out of what I've played and like what technical difficulty and stuff, honestly, um okay, I didn't finish it, but I tried attempting Annie Menz's Unravel. If it's like notorious, and I did not get very far because I am not at that level, but that's the hardest thing I've tried to play.
What's the hardest thing you've ever played successfully?
Successfully? Okay, now I don't have a lot to pick from because I don't finish songs often. Lol. But it's probably I told you about this. Is the Candy Coated Rocks interpretation thing?
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
But
Baseline is very convoluted, at least for me.
So, have you ever? So, is there any such thing as a grand keyboard?
A grand keyboard?
I know that's a dumb question.
Huh? Okay.
So like
keyboards? Yeah.
So like grand piano, but grand piano but keyboard.
Okay. Keyboards, they generally tend to be 5 octaves, or at least the ones I've seen in my life. But I do not know why you couldn't go and just make a 7-octave keyboard. I don't think they'd call it a grand keyboard though. They call it like a so and so amount of keys keyboard. Like that's usually how they call them.
A grand keyboard? You must have just either died inside or wanted to laugh at me so hard for saying that.
Grand keyboard. What's grand about that plastic? SMH my head. I'm not dissing keyboards though. I have two.
But yeah. So what is the main difference between keyboards and pianos? What's the positives and negatives between keyboards and pianos?
Okay, I'll start with keyboards. Some positives is that you can play with like headphones on. So there's no more like hearing your neighbor from like the first floor all the way across the hall, you know? So headphones, and you don't have to tune a keyboard because it's sound fonts, which is basically them recording the sound and then it just like plays that sound through the speakers. Um Honestly, okay. Cons. It would be worse, I think, to spill water on it would be horrible to spill on a piano or a keyboard. I think it would be worse to spill on a keyboard though because it's electronic. Um you can't Dynamics are a bit more difficult because it's like trying to pick up like how much pressure you're putting and trying to like transmit that, but then it doesn't allow for like such a wide like variety of like I guess differences in like how loud or soft you're playing. Because when you're playing an actual piano, it's very noticeable. Like when you're playing piano or forte, which are basically like how loud your playing's. So dynamics are harder. And pros about the actual piano, all the negatives to the keyboard. Um, Man, if you feel so much more like a main character whenever you're playing the grand piano, it just sounds or like an actual piano. It's a lot. It's a lot more liberating, I'd say. I don't know why. It's just weird. Um, and yeah, cons is transportation. If it's too much effort to move it, you know. Like I would move it if you're like moving houses, but if you're gonna busk, just get a keyboard. Unless you're like that one YouTube guy who like does piano videos everywhere. But yeah.
How would he go? Like, how does he transport the thing? Does he just
With a
permanently
truck.
have a U-Haul?
It's like a truck, and then he has like this thing with wheels he puts it on, and then he has like two people who helps him push it around.
Wow.
It's too much effort. I don't know if it's an actual or an electric, actually, but
Oh
I think
wow.
he uses multiple pianos or something. I think his last
Also,
name is Jenkins or something.
also, so when there's like the pianos, like, what happens when you open up that like you know those pianos that like open up at the
Mm-hmm.
like what what I tell me what those things are called, one and two. What is that function for?
Okay, I know there is a word for it. I think it starts with a consonant. I just call them flaps, dude. Like, I know there is a word. I know there's like a sophisticated word, like, but I honestly don't know it. But the purpose is for like acoustics and stuff, you know? Because the difference between like, say, like a grand or baby grand compared to another piano is that like with the piano, you know how they kind of have like that tall kind of like rest thing.
What do you mean? Like the
Um, like, so there's the keys, and then they kind of have that kind of tall rectangular thing behind them. They don't necessarily. They're like more upright towards the wall.
hmm. I'm not quite get what you're getting at, but yeah.
Okay. So there are pianos that are more. There are hamburger style pianos, and then there are hot dog style pianos. And I'm
Really?
talking I'm
Really?
talking more about the hot dog ones because they're more taller and they don't really have as much of a back. That's because like the keys and stuff, I guess, they're vertical because pianos they make their sound with like kind of these mallet things hitting strings. That's how they make sounds, which is really weird, but it works. Just trust the process. And then grand pianos, they're horizontal. So they're like they're hamburger style. So honestly, I think the flap thing just helps with the sound, and they can do it in comparison to like um the upright pianos because it's more area, you know, and I don't know. There's probably something about like echo or something. That's honestly something you could research. Sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm just asking just because there's like a good chunk of different pianos. What would you
Mm-hmm.
do if
It might.
let's say you're trying to play a song on like that was meant for a grand piano, but you only have a baby grand piano? How would you do that?
It would not make too much of a difference because baby grand in a grand would have the same amount of octaves. The keys would just be the tiniest bit smaller, but like they're colored for a reason. You know what you're hitting.
Or like a
And
non-grand and a
yeah.
grand piano is what I meant to
Okay,
ask.
so if you're okay. Um I'll use this with a grand piano and like a keyboard or something. So or a normal piano. So this has happened actually quite a few times where I'll try to play songs and they'll like span all over the place. So with 7 octaves, I'm fine. But then on my 5 octave keyboard, I have to like come up with creative ways and stuff to make it so my hands don't start overlapping. And it's a lot of like you kind of got to figure out where you have to start over and stuff, and it's really weird. But you can pretty much get the gist of the song or the piece, but you won't get the original, I guess, intent across because you're playing at different octaves.
Yeah. How often do you have to translate octaves?
Not super often because I prefer playing on my piano rather than my keyboard. Because again, you feel more like a main character.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any embarrassing stories about the piano?
Oh, this one's kind of sad, but it's embarrassing as well. I did mention before I used to take like these kind of traditional lessons, and I did recitals, right? There's this one time I was so confident. I'd done it a few times. This is maybe like my third one, and I was like, I have this entire song memorized. Like, I'm just gonna go up there without my music, even though I had it, which you should never, ever, ever do. Don't go without your music unless you absolutely have to. Like, your music gets like thrown off the side of your vehicle, like, and you're in a rush. Like, that's one of the only scenarios I would say go without your music. But I had my music, and I was like, I'm so confident, I'm just gonna do it without my music, right? And as you can guess, it went horrible. In the middle of the song, piece. Oh my gosh, in the middle of the piece, I forgot what happened, and I kind of just sat there. And there is like all these like expectant parents of like young aspiring musicians looking at me and judging me, and I kind of just like climbed under the piano and I just kind of sat there for like 3 minutes, and then I eventually like remembered it, and I came back up and I finished it. But it was so awkward. The applause was like so restrained.
Like, sure,
Oh
I don't
man.
need my music.
Never do that, guys. Never ever.
So, do you feel a great amount of stage fright when you're performing um in front of others?
I don't experience that much stage fright. The only thing is that it's a thing that can happen in practice. You just forget what comes next. Like if you're saying a speech practicing in the mirror, you'll forget it, right? It was
Right.
just a really, really bad coincidence. It wasn't that I was scared. I think I was just overconfident, and then, yeah, I was screwed over by myself.
Oh no. I forgot. So, can you please tell me how many years and numbers you've been playing for?
Um, Technically around 7, but there was a big period where it was on and off. In the first few years, I barely practiced, so I barely improved. So like, if I wanted to like actually represent what my skill level would be, I would say around 3. But in all technicalities, I've been playing 7, which is kind of sad. But just practice, just practice.
At least you haven't been like just playing it for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh man. No, honestly, like you're barely like learning how to play stuff in 2 weeks. You're barely like, oh gosh.
But yeah. Um so has this interview inspired you to do different things now? Just by my questions?
I need to perform more often. I like performing.
Does it feel different when you're recording versus when you're at a concert?
um, what do you mean by that?
So so if you were to go ahead and let's say you're performing in front of an audience versus like recording in or versus in front of a camera. Do you feel different like if let's say I personally could never like record myself with a full on camera. I get too nervous, but I can do like live stuff okay, and I can
Yeah.
record my voice okay, but like yeah, you get what I mean, I think.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, I think this experience, like being on YouTube and stuff, is less stressful than a recital or a concert, simply because it's like at the recital or concert, you have people watching you, and you know, my mom and my dad and my siblings, just despite me, all have their like devices out filming me, and my dad brings his like 4K camera or something, and it's so embarrassing. Like, I'm so glad he started just using his phone again.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So is it just
And then
you
they send
performing
it
in
to
front
all
of
your
every?
relatives.
Is it just you performing in front of everybody, or like, um, is it like everybody? Like, or is there more
So
people performing when you're doing the performances?
yeah, so at my old recitals, it was like everyone at the school performing because it was like a it wasn't a music school like, oh, I got in and stuff. It was kind of like a place where they taught you music and you paid them. Everyone there was just had theirs, and we all like we went in order, and there was like a thing with all our names in order. So that was that. There wasn't anyone performing simultaneously with you though. It was all just like one big like kind of concert hall, and it went on for hours. The new one that I have is I'm performing with other people. So I guess other people are performing with me, but instead of performing like separately, yeah, they're performing with me.
So he who asks, "What's your favorite song to play?" I forgot if I already asked that.
Yeah, you did ask that, and I said it was either Raiden Shogun's theme or Candy Coated Rocks.
All right. But yeah, I just wanted to say hi to Hiho on this episode because it was originally going to be his, but he couldn't
Mm-hmm.
make it. So yeah. Um, but yeah, it ended up working out. But yeah.
Yep.
Um, let's see here. What is the longest recital you've ever done?
The longest? Um, so usually at my old recitals, they were usually I just played like one song, and I did um I want to say they were like 3 to 4 minutes per song, so that was pretty standard. But now the ones I'm doing, our set list last time was 12 songs, and of course I was only in 6 of them because there were like a bit of people like alternating. But if you add all of that up, if you average every song to like 3 minutes, that's like 18 minutes of me playing, you know?
Okay. So it isn't like you're up there so long to where it's like just like exhausting.
Yeah, people in orchestra have it tough.
Oh man. Yeah. So think you'd ever join a school orchestra? I think I already asked that, but I wanna know.
Yeah, no, I it so infinitely much, even if I played something else that wasn't the piano.
Sorry, did you say would or wouldn't?
Huh?
Did you say would or wouldn't?
I would like to, or I would have liked to, but I think I don't even know if it would fit my schedule next year, so.
Oh, yeah. I can get
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, Sorry, got distracted by our group's chat. Ah,
All fine.
Melty woke up.
Hey guys, I'm back from my nap.
Man. Anyways, so, have you considered, like, starting a band or anything with your online friends?
Online, it's a lot more difficult because honestly, you just have to like sync up everything through BandLab. And if you're not playing with a metronome, like you have to play like a metronome with like headphones or something. Because even myself, like I tried to do one of those videos where you have yourself like layering like two I guess of you playing. So it's kind of like a duet but with a recording of yourself. I tried to film them separately and it was such a huge mess. I couldn't get the timing right. Right? So I feel like that would even be more difficult online. And I don't think calls are fast enough to like facilitate that. So you'd have to play with like a metronome and then someone have to sync them in BandLab. I've tried
Oh,
to start a band in person, but I mean not a lot of my friends are musicians. And even then, a lot of like the two people I know is one who plays the harp, but she goes to a different school, and one who plays the cello, but she doesn't even like the cello, so I'm not gonna be like, hey, let's do a duet. Like, I'm not gonna make her do that. you
yeah.
know?
So, why is it that people tend to play play instruments even though they don't like them?
Um, of course it's like pressure and stuff from parents is one, but my friend in particular, she liked it at first. She just got really burnt out from it.
So, what is the burnout like? What would you say is like the burnout rate for instruments? Would you say?
Um, I think with most things, if you just do it too much, of course there is like a possibility you'll get burnt out. Like you do schoolwork too much, of course you're gonna get burnt out. But it also depends on your motivation for starting the instrument. If it's something you really like and you're practicing like a lot, then you're less likely to burn out than someone who wasn't even doing it for because they wanted to in the first place. So there's a lot of different factors to like put into that I can't really say a certain number, you know?
Oh,
Mhm.
but yeah. Um, think you'd ever burn out again or no?
Huh?
Think you
Sorry.
think you would ever
Oh,
burn out again or no?
it's possible, but I don't think so, at least soon.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah. Would you say it's hard to play with both hands?
Um, it's not necessarily hard to play with both hands if you're just doing something simple. But then whenever you're playing polyrhythms, which is basically two rhythms happening at the same once, like you're going 1 2 3 1 2 3 with one hand, and then you're playing 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 on the other hand, it can get a bit confusing, but
Do you
it
ever
works out.
accidentally play the wrong like beat on the wrong hand?
Yeah, that happens a lot, especially when like I'm like beginning practicing. I will play off beat, and then some stuff will just be like, why was that late or something?" But practice makes perfect, and then you can eventually overcome mistakes like that on specific pieces.
Have you ever accidentally put your music upside down and tried to play it anyways?
No, like most of the time, 99% of the time I play, I'm at home. So if I put it upside down, I can flip it. But I think I'd be absolutely mortified if that happened to me in public. Like I would just
Oh
go for memory. I wouldn't even try to read it.
man. I've done that before, I think. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Why are there so many E's? And then I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute. But you can see how that would happen, though, right?
Yeah, definitely. If you're like not paying attention, you're stressed, which You're on stage. I can't blame you.
And when you're on stage, do you tend to wear makeup, like stage makeup, or not really?
Um, no, I don't. I once did dance, and my parents forced me to wear makeup, and I hated it so much, especially being like a non-femme person. But no, I hate makeup. I won't wear makeup unless I have to, under any circumstance.
Yeah, same. It. I just don't like the feeling, of it.
Yeah, it's like heavy and cakey and stuff. And no offense to anyone who wears makeup, I just don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like how it feels on me and how much time it takes and whatnot. But yeah, um,
Hmm.
but stage makeup makes it so that you look better on stage.
Yeah, I don't care. I can look ugly in photos. I don't care. It's funny.
Haha, yeah. Have you ever embarrassed yourself a ton, like like during a concert?
Um, I told you about that one recital. Um, my last concert though. Oh gosh. So there's different parts to the song. It's very long. It's 5 minutes, right? And oh man, we skipped two verses at the end because I was playing like some arpeggios which were similar to the ending, and everybody thought you were actually ending the song. So the song just ended abruptly, and I tried to play like the next part, but no one else was playing. So I played like but that was like that end of the song. It was so embarrassing.
Oh no! Did people notice that you abrupt uh abrupt
No, they probably noticed the notes at the end. But the thing was, is that because I'm not holding an instrument, I have the privilege of having like a small piece of paper with like the structure of the song written onto it. So I was doing everything right. But I know full well these people did not memorize it themselves. I mean, I don't blame them, right? It's like it's some teenagers playing music, whatever, no one cares, right? But I was doing everything right. No
So
flex.
so as far as um like when you're working with like other instruments, what is the things that you wish the other instruments would do?
I wish the guitars would turn like their volume down because oh my gosh, no offense, I love guitarists so much. They're like such cool people, but they all want to they all like boost up their volume so loud to the point where that's like the only thing you can hear. And yeah, I mean, that's it really.
What's your favorite instrument to play with? Not like you playing it, but like what's your favorite like instrument to play? Yeah. You get what I'm
To play
asking.
with? Yeah. Um it's honestly the person rather than the instrument that I care about. But I think if I had to do a duet, as non-traditional as this sounds, I love playing with drummers.
Hmm.
Drums are so cool.
Well, I would give you the contact information for my person who did the hobby interview
2 weeks.
show. you know. But
Mhm.
yeah. But yeah, I do know like music producers,
Yeah.
but I don't think they actually play anything. Hold on. Oh wait. Wait, I need to remember if I did any other instrument related like things. As far as like hobby interview shows go. Um,
Yeah.
if I did, um, and if I can get their contact info to you, think you'd want think you'd want to consider it or no?
Perhaps.
But yeah,
Hmm.
um, um, is there any like so if you were an interviewer interviewing somebody who played the piano, what kind of questions would you ask that person?
Um. Hmm. I guess what genre they play, because there's a lot of different genres you can play on piano, and from there I would ask my questions because I've dabbled in a lot of things. I've dabbled in classical, I've dabbled in jazz, I've dabbled in like rock stuff, pop covers, anime. So I know a bit of everything, but there's like purebred classical musicians, there are purebred jazz musicians, you know? In the moment like you ask them something about another genre, they'll be like, I can't believe you would think that of me. So honestly,
Wow.
first thing I'd ask.
So, what genre? So you say that you tend to go ahead and just screw around with different genres.
Yeah.
What's your favorite one to play?
Favorite genre? Um, does this count? Video game music.
I guess.
Like, yeah,
Have
like soundtrack.
Have you ever considered playing The Legend of Zelda?
Okay, there was this one song that I played, and someone did tell
I'm
me that it
talking
did
about the
sound very
theme.
similar
I'm
to it.
talking about the theme.
Yeah, so yes, I'm getting there. Someone told me it sounded a lot like the theme. Honestly, I could learn it. There's nothing really barring me from learning it. I actually started Legend of Zelda like yesterday, so
Nice. Wait, the music or
yeah.
playing the game?
The game.
Ooh, which
So if I
one?
get into it, maybe
Which
Breath of
one?
the Wild.
Ah, yeah, I've been trying to beat that for forever and a half, but animation keeps on getting in the way. Haha.
Yeah. So maybe one day. But right now I'm learning two things, so I need to focus on that. Three, actually.
Yeah. Do you tend to go ahead and like alternate a lot when you're like learning things, or do you tend to like learn one and then go on and then go on and then yeah.
I alternate a lot, and it's actually something I would recommend you to do. I'm not saying learn 5 to 10 pieces at the same time, because that is way too much. You will not be able to keep track of everything. How do you even remember that much, like learning it all at the same time? I have no idea. But it's good to be able to alternate, because if you're ever getting stuck on a certain part, you can just switch over to the other song, go as far as you can there, and then come back to it. It gives you something to do to like while you're in a resting period for that song, like to like ease your mind block, if that makes sense.
Hmm. So do you oftenly get like so you know how there's like art blocks and writing blocks? Is there ever a music
Mhm.
block?
There definitely is. Like nothing sounds right. Even times when you know you're playing everything technically correct, it's just not right. If you're a non-musician, you wouldn't be able to tell really if a person's going through a slump unless they're like playing really badly, which definitely you can tell. But there are sometimes it just doesn't come to you, you know? In times where
Oh,
it's harder to learn something.
yeah. Do you feel like your mental state in general affects how you play?
A little bit, but I also play the piano as like a coping mechanism sometimes. So it's like even when I'm feeling down, like I can still play that, and it's like okay with me at least.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Um,
As frustrating as it can be sometimes.
yeah. What other questions would you ask if you were an interviewer interviewing a piano player?
Hmm. I don't know honestly. Like
Oh,
if they preferred, huh?
oh wait, yeah, you continue. I just thought of something too.
Oh, if they preferred like major or minor chords or something. Like I honestly don't know much questions I would ask. That's why I'm not an asker interviewer channel. But yeah, I'd ask that. Like I don't know. I like minor chords more personally, like scales too. So
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking you if there's any questions that you'd ask if you were me is so that I don't like miss something really important and then scream at myself later for forgetting it.
yeah, that's fair.
But yeah. Um what how often do keys break?
Keys break. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. If at least with a decent piano, they shouldn't break. If they do break though, then you're playing too aggressively and you need to get that either. I'm not sure if fixing it is an option, then go for it. But then you might have to get that specific like if it's like the mallet or the string replaced or something. And I don't know how much that could be, but that hasn't been an
Oh.
issue I've experienced ever. So
Yeah, I just don't know because like violinists tend to break strings.
yeah, the strings on a piano though, they're like huge metal things, you know. They're not scary, but it's kind of difficult to break them. At
Would you
least,
would you
yeah.
consider pianos string instruments, or would they be considered a different kind of instrument?
There's actually been an ongoing debate about this,
Yeah,
whether
that's why I'm
pianos are
asking.
string instruments. Yes, string instruments are percussion instruments because they have strings in them, but then they have the mallets in them. But there's actually an answer to that. They just created a whole new like category for specific instruments like that. Like
Is it called the piano category?
chordophone.
Oh, cornophone.
Chordophone. Yeah. It has strings stretched between 2 points. When the strings vibrate, they produce sound. So similar to a lyre or harp.
Oh, have you considered
Hmm.
trying to play the harp?
I have a friend who plays harp. I've been wanting to ask her eventually if I could try, but like she's super duper good, so if I broke her instrument, then I would like never forgive myself.
That's fair. Um,
So maybe one day.
so how easy is it to learn another instrument after you've learned piano?
Hold on, I disconnected my headphones on accident.
Ah, you're good. You're good. I'm not going to kick you off the show for accidentally disconnecting your headphones.
Okay, what question did you ask?
I literally forgot. Why did I
It's
forget
okay.
that quickly? Oh my
It happens to the
god.
best of us, don't worry.
Let's see. I'm gonna totally cheat and like.
I'm not gonna kick you off the show.
Let's see here. I'm gonna cheat and no, I can't go back. I can't rewind.
I can't believe it.
It's a live stream. But yeah, maybe play that song in time. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. Oh man. How easy is it to learn another instrument after you have played the piano?
In comparison to instruments, like the piano isn't super duper similar to any other instruments. The most similar would be the organ or the harmonica. But of course,
The
they have different
harmonica.
aspects
The
Not the
harmonica.
harmonica. The organ or the accordion. Accordion. Oh my god, not the harmonica. Why was I thinking of harmonica? No, harmonicas are so difficult for no reason. I can go on a whole tangent about that as a person who can half play the harmonica. But accordion. The wah 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 ones.
Wait, the one that I said I inherited from my grandma.
Yeah, that one.
Oh man.
Because they have like the keys, right?
Yeah.
But in comparison to like an instrument like the guitar, like you learn the guitar, then you can play like a lute, you can play like a banjo, you can play like a bass. Like then if you learn the violin, of course, it is different because of the sizes of the instrument. But you can also like translate that to like viola, you can translate that to cello, right? Like it's not the same thing ever. But in comparison to like guitar, there's not really an advantage it gives you aside from knowing basically how to handle an instrument and how to read sheet music.
Oh.
It's a pretty standalone instrument, if I do say so myself.
Have you ever just like had your hands sweat so much to where you could feel it on the keys?
Yes, I have. At that point, I either wash my hands or I take a break because it's never good to overexert yourself.
Oh yeah. Does it feel weird?
Yeah, it does. And it's also like when you notice yourself start sweating, like even when you start sweating, the keys become like slippy. They become slipped. There's I don't
Slipperier.
Slip. They become more slippery.
More slippery.
More.
Oh,
Oh, that's the word.
what?
Slippery. They become slippery. You know what? This is a live stream. You can't cut that. Okay.
What?
As I was saying, okay, as you become more sweaty, the keys become more slippery. So you already start to like notice it, and you can't really play as good because your fingers are slipping everywhere. So yeah,
How about if your hands
sticky
are
pianos are not fun.
what if like you what if you just have sweaty hands in general?
Dog, I don't even know what to say to that. I guess adapt, improvise, overcome. Like, I don't have sweaty hands, so it's not an issue I've ever had. I mean, not an issue that I've faced a lot. Because I have played with sweaty hands, but that's just practice.
Also, do you feel like it's easier to go ahead and play piano with bigger hands?
Definitely. A lot of it becomes a lot easier because you also have to stretch your hands a little bit for piano.
Fair. Like, yeah. Oh man. I'm just like imagining just like how much coordination it takes to play the piano.
Quite a bit, but a lot of it becomes intuitive.
Yeah. How long did it take you to go from I have no idea what to do with this piano to I can play a complete song on this piano?
I mean, I don't say I had a natural aptitude and I was a prodigy because I know I wasn't. But my first few songs, as simple as they were, I was able to definitely get a feel of what playing the piano was like. I wouldn't say I know what I was doing, like, but it's not that hard to get a feel from it. When I first started like actually knowing what I was doing was when I learned what every pianist ever should learn are chords. Chords are really not that difficult, and I learned them very early on. I see like YouTube videos with like people being like things I should have learned as a beginner pianist, and like chords is always like number one. And I was like,
Ha
I'm so glad
ha.
I actually learned these. But when you start learning chords and you start learning, you don't have to like delve super deep into music theory and stuff. But once you just get the basics and know what sounds good with each other, then I don't know, it opens like a whole new level.
Have you ever written your own song and played it?
A few times.
How did that go?
Um, I mean, the songs from when I was in elementary school are cringe. The ones in middle school are cringer. I like to say the ones that are recent are okay, but of course, I would definitely want to play them with other people too, which is fun because one of my siblings is beginning to play the guitar, but she's not the best ever at it yet, so I get to
Fair.
wait.
Yeah. How quickly do you tend to learn things?
Um, it depends how much I'm procrastinating, honestly.
Yeah.
If I'm taking my time and actually like not procrastinating and switching to a new thing every 30 seconds, then like a 3ish minute, 2ish, 3ish minute piece would take me like a week. But like knowing myself, it'll probably take like two.
Oh, that's
And that's
fair.
also if I have the motivation for it.
That's fair.
Yeah. And complexity is also a thing, but like I don't play stuff that's super duper high above my skill level. I'm okay with gradually improving.
That's fair. Yeah, so you're not
Mm-hmm.
like into like playing something that's like almost impossible and then making your mind crash.
I mean, yeah, I've tried that. And it's even the sheet music. It's intimidating. You don't even want to look at it.
Oh man. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I can play the, like, first, like, I don't remember it, but at some point I could play, like, the first 10 seconds to Annie Menz's. So, Annie Menz is this pianist guy. He's super duper good. And he did this interpretation of Unravel, the Tokyo Ghoul theme song, right? And it's super duper complex and super duper above my skill level. And I'm not even sure I'll ever get there. But like I tried to learn it and nuh-uh. So I can play it. I could play it at like 0.25x speed in like the first 10 seconds, but that's it.
Do you ever
It was frustrating too.
Do you ever like record your hands and then replay it to watch yourself play? Like, have you ever like recorded what your hands were doing?
Yeah, it looks like I'm doing much more than a lot than I'm actually doing. It makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah. And and if you were to mess up during a concert, do you think people would know, or do you tend to hide them pretty well?
I can hide pretty well, especially because of those damn guitarists. No offense.
Those loud ass guitarists. They think they're
Real,
everything.
like,
okay, yeah.
They do. Like, but I can hide pretty well, for the most part. And if someone's a non-musician, unless I like mess up dramatically and like criminally, then they won't notice. But if someone has at least like a little bit of knowledge of like music, like my dad, he was able to tell where my mistakes were because he plays the piano and the guitar. Um, he was like able to be like, "You were iffy in these parts," and I was like, "I know." But yeah, as a non-musician, meh, I don't really know if you could tell. Maybe if you were really into music, but even then, a lot of people who are really into music actually like make music.
Does music theory help you learn how to play the piano, or is it just two separate things?
It helps with some aspects, I guess. It helps mostly if you're improving, which is improvising, which is pretty self-explanatory. You need to know your scales and stuff. But that's really basic music theory. And if you're composing something, if it's simple enough, then you already know what you have in your head. You just need to translate onto the piano. So music theory can help if you're especially like technical, or if that's what you're trying to like study and put into your music, and you're like super ultra jazz mega hyper composer whatever. But for me personally, I only have a very limited knowledge of music theory, but I'm still like okay where I am.
Yeah, that's fair. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
now is time for closing announcements. Do you have any placebo?
Thank y'all for being here.
Just so you know, there's people will go ahead and watch later on because they can't make it when it's live. So yeah. And then closing announcements as far as I go is I'm still working on storytime animations. If you guys have any ideas on storytime animations, please make sure to shoot them my way. And yeah, let's see here.
Yay.
I'm still trying to go ahead and get back into the groove of animating after like all the IRL stuff that's been going on. But yeah, anyways, next week, assuming no one cancels on me, let's see here. I'm gonna have audio games with a friend of mine by the name of Entergreen. So yeah.
Ooh.
Anyways, do you have any closing announcements about like any YouTube or wait, you don't have a YouTube, right?
I mean, I have an account. I just don't post.
But yeah, you don't have any announcements on what you're doing, right?
No, not really. Unless me in the chat.
Placebo moment from FDFC. Is that your count?
Yeah, that's me. Freedom Dive full combo.
Okay. Anyways, do you have an outro?
Nah, not really.
Alrighty, I'm gonna say mine then. I platonically love you, my donut batch, and see you